Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. In this video, it's going to be another just political discussion based video. And in this video, it's going to be about an issue about an event that happened on Wednesday when when Congress was certifying the electoral college results on November that took place on November 3rd, 2020. Um, and what happened was uh, when Congress was certifying the election results in Arizona, President Trump's supporters actually stormed the Capitol, and honestly, in my opinion, that was because of what happened when during at the White House. President Trump held a rally, and he was saying that uh, um, he was telling his supporters to march on to the Capitol, but he was meaning just doing it peacefully, and his supporters they did it, and they marched on the Capitol, but then it started to turn violent. And honestly, in my opinion, violence is never okay because we're not ruled by mob rule. That's not how our founder set it up. And I just want to, before I begin, my condolences, and I go to the 4 people that lost their lives during the Capitol storming of the riot, and my condolences go to the 50 police officers that were hurt during this riot. And I want to say, I want to thank all of the Capitol police officers that did a phenomenal job keeping our elected officials safe, that kept people safe, and got the riot under control. You guys are just truly remarkable. I hate to say it, but not hate to say it, but you guys, I just wanted to say this for a long time. I appreciate the work that our police, our incredible police force, that do. You guys put your lives on the line to keep everyone safe, and I just want to say thank you to all the Capitol Police that kept everyone safe, even our vice president safe. And that's what I wanted to start off with. And my condolences go to the people that were killed, 4 people that were killed. And it was just like a very sad day to see on our nation's capital, to see President Trump's supporters storm the Capitol. And I don't know what to say, but it's just sad. It's sad to see, but I don't think it's just President Trump, in my opinion, why this all unfolded. Yes, I think it's the reason why is because his supporters, they were just all mad, and they thought they were just really cried furious, and they think that President Trump was cheated, and it was rigged because of voter fraud. Even though right now there's not been any single evidence that was produced that there was voter fraud in the election, but I do believe maybe something shady could have happened, but we just don't have any evidence right now. And I hope, like, in these next couple of two years before 2022 midterms roll around, and before the next presidential election rolls around, I hope political part Congress does take some action on passing historic electoral reform. And but before I begin with that, I just want to say, like, I think, like, yes, I think President Trump, I think we do need to somewhat hold him accountable, because I think it was really his rhetoric when he told his supporters to march on the Capitol. But he did say keep it peaceful on a Twitter tweet. He also did say respect our great men and women in blue, which is referring to the law enforcement. He was trying to promote a peaceful rally, but it got out of hand, and the violent, and then it caused his demonstrators to storm the Capitol, which ultimately led to a riot on the Capitol, and where a lot of our which is scary, in my opinion, honestly, because if it wasn't for our police force, it was just honestly so scary, and in a dark day for our nation's history. It was, like, so sickening to see that, and it was not the right approach to do, in my opinion. But but there was an overarching reason. It's not just Trump and his supporters why this all happened. If you look, everyone has to be in Trump's shoes, his supporters' shoes at this point. Just think about like these last 4 years. What it boiled down to Trump, and his supporters. What did they put? What did the media put supporters through? They like I remembered like on our nation's capital, they demeaned one of a young man, a teenager who is a supporter of President Trump with his MAGA hat, and they were demeaning him. And when he was, they demeaned him because he was just standing in front of a Native American veteran, and they demeaned him to the point where they were saying that MAGA team was just harassing the Native American veteran. Honestly, in my opinion, that was uncalled for. And then these last 4 years, they put him through like these phony investigations. They put him through like a Russian collusion hoax, saying that the Russians meddled just to help President Trump win the election. When they appointed us, and they even appointed a special prosecutor. I just don't think that was quite necessary, honestly, in my opinion. And that's one of the reasons why it led to the storming of the Capitol. I'm not saying it was wrong. I'm not saying it was right. And that was completely uncalled for, because that's not the right way of doing about it. Because if you want to show that you're better than someone, you don't do the exact same thing that they do. You have to be stronger than them. And it was so uncalled for. But I think the media, President Trump and his supporters, they should be held accountable. But the media and the Democratic Party, I kind of blame them as well, what they put his supporters through these last 4 years, what they put the president through. And it was so uncalled for, in my opinion. And this is exactly why I'm still doing my Fixing American Democracy series, simply because this country needs drastic electoral reform. Why I am simply for why I'm for proportional representation, why I'm for mixed member proportional, why I'm for dual member proportional to elect our U.S. senators, why I'm for drastic electoral reform. Because right now, you have one section of the population that is so happy that their candidate won, but you have another section of the population that thinks the election was rigged. And there's something wrong with our electoral system. Why I think our electoral system needs to be reformed. Why I think that. And honestly, in my opinion, these next 2 years, I think Congress's main job is reforming our electoral system. Because I think our electoral system is in drastic need in reforming. And as well, I think Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley are right on this. I think we should appoint an election or like some type of commission and audit to examine the results in Pennsylvania, in Michigan, in Arizona, in Georgia, in Wisconsin, in these states where Trump thinks there was fraud. There was fraud in there. That's what they need to do, so we know that the results were legitimate. But right now, all I have to say is Joe Biden is the next president of the United States, and there's nothing Trump can do about it. But that doesn't mean these next 2 years Republicans can do something about it. They need to push for electoral reform. They need to push for examining the results of the 2020 election and to see if there was voter fraud, to see if Trump's claims were right. But right now, there's nothing they can do about it. I think Trump's going to automatically leave office. But he was an incredible president for his time. But right now, I don't want to get off topic here. Honestly, in my opinion, it was to see that the storming of our nation's capital, that was like so uncalled for, in my opinion. And I think Trump went way too far in that. But I kind of understand him, because he went through so much scrutiny. He went through so much negativity by the media and the Democratic Party. They put him through countless of investigations after investigations. They put him through like a Russian collusion hoax, a special prosecutor, trying to do everything they can just to destroy him politically. And I get it. I understand where he's coming from, but I just don't think his rhetoric that was so uncalled for. And that was just taking it way to the extreme, in my opinion. And right now, like even what I'm seeing right now, I think the problem is the establishment, even the Democratic Party, they wanted to push for DC statehood just for politics and power. And I think that's one of the reasons why we saw his supporters storm the Capitol, because they are just so um, pissed off. They're completely mad. They think the election was rigged and rigged against Trump, but I don't think there's right now there's not any evidence right now that's being presented. And once Joe Biden is sworn in and this new Congress is all settled in and the entire elections I do think one thing they need to do, honestly, is they really need to push for electoral reform. And one of the reasons, it's time for the American voters to really stop electing Republicans and Democrats. It's just the same thing over and over and over and over again. We need to start really, honestly, electing different political parties, because right now, I think our country's headed towards more of a one-party system. So, because the Republicans are so incompetent to stand up for conservatism, to stand up against the Democratic Party. But I do have some faith in them, because I think they did make some progress in the election. But overall, in my opinion, we just need. I think honestly, in my opinion, they need to push Congress in these next couple of years. Needs to push for a drastic electoral reform, in my opinion. And I think honestly, that's going to help prevent this incident from ever happening again, in my opinion. Because I think with proportional representation, with a proportional electoral college, where electoral votes are allocated proportionally based on the percentages each candidate got in the state's popular vote, I think honestly, more and more people will be happier with the results of the election. I think you're going to see less rioting and less protesting if there was more proportional voting, mixed member proportional being used in House elections, dual member proportional being used in Senate elections. I think it's honestly going to be, in my opinion, I think more and more people will be happier with the result if it's proportional, in my opinion. And plus, they're going to feel like they have a party and have representatives that better represent their values, and that's better representing them and standing up for their beliefs. And honestly, in my opinion, what I said before in my Fixing American Democracy series on episode 5, where I went into detail of mixed member proportional, more parties, the better, in my opinion, because more people are going to be heard. More people feel like they're going to have a voice in our government. More people feel like they're going to have parties and representatives that are going to represent them, in my opinion. And plus, in my opinion, I think a divided Congress is always a good thing, where no party has a majority in the House of Representatives, where no party has a majority in the United States Senate, because everyone is getting heard at the end of the day. Yes, I understand it might slow progress, it might slow the process down, passing things, but that's what our founders' vision is. Congress is supposed to be a slow process legislative, because they're supposed to be a slow process body of the branch of the government, because they're a legislature. Things take time to pass things, and how you pass things, you have to collaborate. You have to make compromises with other parties, with other representatives, and that's why I think, in my opinion, proportional representation would be a good thing, in my opinion. And I think realistically, proportional representation and I think reforming electoral college, where electoral votes are allocated proportionally, is going to help prevent another incident like what we saw on Wednesday with all the storming on the nation's capital. I think proportional elections is just what's going to, I think, prevent another incident from happening again, because I think more and more people will be happier with those results, and more people are going to trust the election results, and more and more people are going to not think that the election was rigged. And I think that was one of the reasons why this happened, why this rioting happened. And I'm not saying it was justified, because I think that was totally uncalled for. But let me hear what you guys stand on this issue. Do you agree with me on this issue? Do you think we need drastic electoral reform so this type of incident doesn't happen again? Because I don't think uh, increasing police spending or spending more on security for our nation's capital is really going to do anything to solve this issue. I think electoral reform is the best solution to preventing this incident from ever happening again, in my opinion. I think proportional representation is the way to go, and a drastic electoral reform package to reform our elections overall is what's going to help make America a better country overall for Republicans, for Democrats, for Libertarians, for Green Party candidates, for Reform Party candidates, for other parties, for even independent candidates, for conservatives, for centrists, for liberals, for even for social conservatives, social liberals. I think more and more people will be happier if we push for electoral reform, if we push for a proportional representation like mixed member proportional and dual member proportional, and even ranked choice voting. I just think, honestly, the best solution to preventing this incident from ever happening again is electoral reform. Pushing for that, in my opinion, pushing for proportional representation. So, in my opinion, yes, it was completely uncalled for what Trump supporters did, but I don't think they don't deserve completely all the blame. And yes, it is domestic terrorism, just storming the nation's capital. That is terrorism right there, because you're attacking you're attacking the people's house that we elect, where we elect representatives that represent us, that make the laws for us, and that was totally that you don't that's a mob. You don't incite a mob just to storm the Capitol because you didn't get what you wanted in the election. That was totally uncalled for. But I get their emotions, but that's not how you do it. You do it peacefully, and that's how you do it. You do it by a peaceful protest. That's how you voice your disagreement with the election results, and if you want to push for electoral reform, so fraudulent voting, so rigged elections will never happen again in future presidential elections. But in my opinion, I just want to say, once again, I am sorry. I'm sorry for the people that I have. My condolences go to the 4 people that lost their lives during this riot, and I want to thank all of our police officers that got the riot under control, because you guys do a remarkable job, and you guys have done a tremendous service for this great country, and protecting our Constitution, protecting our institutions. The police officer, Capitol Police, you do a great job, and I just want to say thank you for what you do, and let's together make this country a better place for all Americans, and let's together reimagine the promise of America for generations, and I mean generations to come. Thank you, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and share what you think about my solutions, and tell me how can we prevent another incident from happening like this again. But again, this is the Young Centrist, and I am out.